A discussion about fatherhood in America, next on Interlocution. One organization quotes the U.S. Census Bureau that over 25 million children live apart from their biological fathers in the United States. Now that's 1 in every three children. The number doubles when you take and consider African American children, 65% living without their biological fathers. Fatherhood's an important topic. One of the unique study groups we have here at Parkland College is Together We Achieve. It's actually an all-male study cohort that takes their classes together. And we study this issue of fatherhood. Let's meet the two experts, student experts, who are going to help us discuss this topic today.
Hi, my name is Dejon Thompson from Chicago, Illinois, and I study computer science here at Parkland.
Hello, my name is Anthony Thomas, and I'm a Parkland student, and my current major is undecided.
Well, gentlemen, there we are. We're an all-male cohort taking this class together, and I decide to have us study fatherhood. Honestly, what was your first thoughts when you heard that we were going to study fatherhood as our first writing unit?
Take time.
What's that?
So we got to take time?
Yeah, take turns. Go ahead. Either one.
I mean, like, it was just another subject that I was trying to pass, like just another task at hand, I guess.
Okay, just another subject, didn't have any special reaction to it.
Yeah, nothing really major.
Yeah, how about you, DJ? When I announced fatherhood as our first topic, what did you think?
I thought about my father.
What did you think about, if you don't mind my asking?
Just thought about it in general. Yeah.
All right. Well, what do you think, now that you've studied it, Anthony and DJ, now that you've studied it, what do you think about why study fatherhood in the first place?
Fatherhood is a very vital part of a child's life because without a father, it has an impact on your life, without growing up without a father.
Yeah, now, I believe in your paper you mentioned you had some personal experiences with that. Anything you care to share?
I grew up without a father at an early age, like around 10 or 11. And I knew it played a vital role on my life, in my success. Even though it didn't stop me from going to college, it played a role. Maybe I would have did something different in my life if my father wasn't around.
Okay. Yeah, well, we'll talk maybe more about some of the impact of fatherlessness a little later on. But DJ, what about you? Fatherhood, why study it?
Same reason. More. Same reason.
Same reason?
But my father, he was in my life, but wasn't in my household. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Did that have an impact on you?
Yeah, it did, a lot.
Describe that.
I don't want to.
Oh, that's okay. You don't have to. That's fine. Well, since you started off, Anthony, talking about this, one of our guest speakers was Dr. Harold Davis. He's an author, speaker on this very subject of fatherhood, travels all over the place. He's been on national radio. One of his big lines is, if you don't have a dad, you have a deficit. What do you think about that statement? DJ, what about you? What do you think about that statement?
If you don't have a father, meaning you without essential needs in life, basically. If that makes sense.
Okay, can you give me an example of where you've seen that or what you mean by that?
Basketball team without a point guard, basically.
Basketball team without a point guard. So you're saying the father runs the show? Is that how that analogy works?
Yeah, kind of, sort of.
Okay, so without the father,
he brings the team together. Yeah, like that. That makes sense.
All right. Yeah, Anthony, Dr. Harold Davis. If you don't have a father, you have a deficit. What do you think about that?
If you don't have a father, it's going to be a restraint. Like growing up, like you're going to have a different, I don't know how to put it, like a different task at hand. Like it's going to be different. It's not going to be the same as a 2-parent household family. You get what I'm saying? It's going to be a deficit, like he's saying. Like it's going to be a down. Like you're going to be down one already.
Okay. Now, growing up, you probably saw all kinds of kids. Some people who had, you know, a mom and a dad in their home. Some people just had a dad, just a mom, or many other combinations of families out there. I mean, what did you observe in your friends who didn't have dads in their homes?
Most of my friends in the same predicament.
We did. We shared common things. Like we did things that we shouldn't have did. I'm just gonna say that. Like we did things we shouldn't have together because we didn't have a father.
Okay, so you did some things together because you didn't have a father. Now, what kinds of things are we talking about?
I don't want to speak deeply into what we did, but we did things that we wasn't supposed to.
And you link that to fatherlessness.
Yes.
Why?
Because like Mr. Davis said, that father is a deficient. Get what I'm saying? Like,
Okay. So,
They
but
ain't
I'm
had no
still trying to
point
get a
guard.
feel for what's the deficit? What would cause a group of guys to engage
wanna
in
look up to.
Okay, so no one to look up to?
Yeah.
without having a
Me,
father,
Brady.
it leaves a void in your person, like who you are as a person.
Okay. Okay. What about you, DJ? What kinds of things did you observe in the people you knew, people you saw, who didn't have fathers in their homes?
They did the same thing I did.
Well, can you tell us a little bit about that?
No, I can't, but I don't know.
How about this? Now, when I grew up also, my dad was not in my home past the age of 8 or 9. And I remember seeing the kid across the street who had his mom and dad. I was so envious of him. You know, they'd go camping. Once a week, his dad would take him out to, back then they had arcades. You probably don't know what that is. You know what that is?
Yeah.
Aladdin's Castle. He'd take him there, give him $5 worth of tokens, and just play with them. I really felt, even as a kid, just kind of an envy of that person. Do you remember in your neighborhoods or any community groups, anybody who had their mom and dad together, and what were your feelings about that? Did you know anybody who had their mom and dad in the home together?
I know.
Yeah, a couple people.
I know a couple people that.
Was
yeah.
it different for them?
Yeah, because they had two parents, so that means they had an advantage, which means like my mother would work, but if I had a father, maybe my father would have been off, and then maybe he could have took me to the park or did things that other fathers do that live in the household of their kids, put them into sports, get them involved. I'm more of a person that had to do it for myself because my mom's was at work.
Okay, so I'm seeing now part of the deficit was without dad there, mom's got to work, she's got to pay the bills, and that's taking her out too, so you have an empty house.
Or
Yes,
like-
basically, yes.
Okay, and when you're, and I'm not want to put words in your mouth, but when young men have an empty house, what's happening?
Just things that we shouldn't be doing, like,
You don't have to go into too far into detail
yeah.
if you don't want to.
yeah, we was just doing things that we shouldn't have. Like,
Okay.
I mean, one time I spilled some juice on the computer, and I was, because my mama said I had company, and I did, and I spilled some juice on the computer.
Well, it makes you feel any better. I did that too. I was supposed to come home, empty house, no company, no friends. Yeah, I did that too. DJ, what about you? What about what was it like with? Now, did your mom raise you in your
Yeah.
home?
Yeah.
How did that work? Did she work? Was she gone?
She
What-
worked. I
Okay.
go home to myself. But then I got my cousin in the same age, same grade. So I just go to his house. And
Okay.
then we got each other, basically.
All right, so you had each other. Now, you mentioned, Anthony, that you got in some trouble with the guys. Is it possible, can a young man fill that void without the father with anything positive?
Yes, it's very possible. See, look where we at today.
You gotta be a certain
You
age.
look where you at today.
Good point.
So-
Well, what did you do? What positive role models or figures did you fill your life with?
Really, it was like my sophomore and junior year. My English teacher, Mr. Steffens, he kind of pushed me in the right direction of going to school. You know what I'm saying? Because at times I did want to drop out of school in high school, but I pushed through because I knew that it was more to life than just, you know what I'm saying, this. So I wanted to go to the next level and go to college and
Okay.
see where that took.
So you had a mentor who stepped in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now you got the second best grade, I believe, in class in the last paper set, so that's pretty good. How about you, DJ? What did you feel? Were there positives that you filled your life with also?
I learned off my brothers. What they did, I learned what not to do, basically.
Ah.
Yeah.
So you saw what they did and said, I'm
Yeah.
not going to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. I got you. Well, now I'm not going to be ridiculous and try to actually quote this very well, but you know the classic song we studied by Tupac called Dear Mama.
Yeah.
And one of his classic quotes is, and again, pardon me, he says, "Now ain't nobody tell us it was fair, no love from Daddy, 'cause the coward wasn't there. He passed away and I didn't cry, 'cause my anger wouldn't let me feel for a stranger. They say I'm wrong and I'm heartless, but all along I was looking for a father, he was gone. I hung around with the thugs, and even though they sold drugs, they showed a young brother love." What do you take away from that quote?
All he wanted is love from his father.
And he found it in the streets.
Did you see that? Is that common? Is that something that you think is common?
Yeah, that's
Yes,
common.
that's
It's like gangs
yeah.
get so big.
That's why I stayed in trouble. You know, being at the wrong place at the wrong time and hanging around the wrong people.
Okay, so another deficit is there's a certain amount of love. If you don't get that there, you're going to look other places for it.
Right.
Tell somebody out there, maybe they don't have any idea about gangs, they don't have any idea, how do gangs try to fill that need a young man has for that love, that arm around the shoulder?
It's not necessarily gangs, it's just, I think it's friends. Because it's a lot of people that don't gang bang but still run into trouble. So I don't necessarily think it's gangs. I think it's just a lot of people doing what they're not supposed to be doing, like just because they don't have a father around. So I feel like it's just the deficient, like you said.
Okay, so we got this deficit, they're missing the love. It's not just gangs. What do you think, DJ?
It's more like, I don't know.
Well, we're missing the point guard, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
We're missing the point guard and some of that love and encouragement.
You find it with your friends.
All right, I got it.
Family.
Okay. We'll talk more about maybe this quote a bit. I was just curious when Tupac said, "The coward wasn't there." Why would he describe what his father did as cowardly? But we'll pick that up on that thought when we come back here on this interesting conversation on fatherhood in America.
Get the ball rolling to a new career with an Eastern Illinois University degree at Parkland College.
Parkland and Eastern really made it work for me.
Now I'm taking Eastern classes on Parkland's campus.
I'm working on my bachelor's degree from Eastern without commuting.
Thanks to Parkland and Eastern, I'm reaching my goals.
For more on Eastern at Parkland, call 217-351-2543.
Okay, picking up where we left off, the poet Tupac says, "No love for my daddy, because the coward wasn't there." Why is he calling his father a coward?
Maybe because his father left him at an early age.
Okay.
I was scared to be part of his life.
And maybe like his mother did it all by herself, so maybe he considered his mother brave and his father a coward.
What exactly is cowardly about the dad just saying, "No, not for me, I'm out"?
Because
That
when,
right there.
yeah, like
Well, explain.
when
Why would that be cowardly?
Because he wasn't there, like he said, he wasn't
That's his
there, and
responsibility.
he bailed on. Yeah, that's a responsibility. That's part of fatherhood.
Part of fatherhood. It's
Part of being a father.
okay. Can you give me an example? What would responsible fatherhood look like?
He would be married. He would have kids, and he would have a wife, and he would take care of his kids. Make sure they grow into the person they need to be.
Take care. What does that look like? DJ,
Take-
what's that look like? What's a father do to take care of his family?
Giving the child anything, everything that he or she needs to be successful in life.
Yeah. Now, in your
That's the
paper,
plan.
your dad was not in the household, but you also wrote that he did a lot for you.
Yeah,
Can you kind of describe what he did for you?
everything.
Like,
Like
was
everything.
he always there for you? What comes to mind? Like, what do you picture when you hear that?
When I need something, he got it. More like that. That's how I put it.
See, it was vice versa for me. Like,
Okay.
he had his father, but I didn't have my father, so it was like my mom was the father. So she had to play two roles in my life, but it was different for him.
But I wanted to play two roles too, cause like, I learned stuff from him, but I didn't learn what I would have learned if he was around in the house, I should say.
What comes to mind when you say you learned things, but not what you would have learned if he'd have been there? What kinds of things are you thinking of?
Cause he wasn't. I really don't know.
Okay. Well, let's pick up on that. Because I think, for example, when Reverend Davis, Dr. Davis says, if you don't have a dad, you have a deficit, you know, there may be some single mothers out there saying, wait. I am both father and mother. And in fact, some of our fellow students in the class said, hey, my mom raised me. She was both a father and mother, and I've turned out well. So comment on, is a mom able to step in and be father and mother to a child?
Yes.
Did you say yes and you said?
Yes.
Yeah, he said yes.
What does that look like?
What? Explain what you mean by what.
Can you give me an example? How does mom step in and be dad also?
Although my mom was more lenient, probably lenient, she enforced the rules. Like, I couldn't just do everything I wanted to do. She would still imply rules. Although she was gone working, she would still enforce rules. I know what had to be done by the time she got home.
Okay, so the rule enforcer, mom can step up and do that.
That's
Yeah.
a father role though.
Yeah,
sometimes.
that might
Or
be a
when they
father.
present, when both present. that's a
Enforcement
father
is
role.
usually for a male, which is father, like a father.
Okay,
Like you said.
but when he's not there, mom steps
Was
up.
the enforcer.
That's how you see it. Okay, what about you, DJ? How does a mother be both mom and dad to a young man?
Same thing.
Okay. All right.
Same thing.
Now, this is interesting because, I think a young man can be raised by a single mom. I certainly was, and my single mom worked her tail off to put things together. But in my own personal experience, I still would have said, even though she did a very good job supplying my needs, I still felt a void, an emptiness.
Like
you know?
Me too, also. I felt the emptiness also.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about this emptiness because I noticed when I went to find materials on fatherhood, it was very easy to find videos and clips of people talking about the emptiness from fatherlessness. And we looked at Will Smith's famous line from The Fresh Prince, his old sitcom, where his father comes back in his life for maybe a week or so and promises, hey, son, I'm going to take you on a 3-week trip. He's a truck driver, take you on a 3-week drive. And all of a sudden, though, he backs out, whoosh, and he's out of Will's life and leaves him again. And at first, you remember from the clip, Will Smith tries to play it off, no problem, no problem. But he ends up breaking down, right? And he says this famous line, how come he don't want me, man? That one line on the internet had over 1,800,000 hits. What are people connecting with that line? How come he don't want me, man?
Because they probably in the same predicament.
We could relate to it. When you seen the video, you related to it.
I sure did.
And when I seen the video, I could relate to it. So maybe it's a lot of people that's coming from the same predicament we came from.
But why the question? Why the question, how come he don't want me, man? What does that say about...
Understand why.
Say it again?
He couldn't understand why.
He was confused. He didn't understand why his father wasn't around.
Do you think a lot of young men who have fatherlessness have that question in their mind? How come? Why doesn't he want me? Why isn't he here?
I think that's something everybody wants to know. Everybody want to know where their father is. So I think, yeah.
Why? Why do people want to know? If mom's bringing paying the bills and she's there. Why? How come he don't want me, man? I mean, in the sitcom, right? Will Smith, he's got everything he wants. He lives with Uncle Phil.
That's not his father.
Maybe
Why
he
does
want
that matter?
Maybe he wanted more than materialistic things. Cause he did stay in a big house and he had a lot of Jordans, went to a private school. So maybe his father could give him something that living in Bel Air couldn't.
What is that thing? Honestly.
Support.
What?
Support.
Love. But couldn't Uncle Phil give that love to
It's
him?
not the same.
How come it's not the same?
Because that's not your father.
What's special about a father?
He was the one that made you.
Yeah, he's part of your creation.
Yeah. Without your father, you would be nothing.
Well, in fact, that's how we started the study of fatherhood, right?
Right.
With the study of what actually the male brings biologically. How much? Do you remember how much of the
3
child
million.
genetically?
3 million.
Wrong question.
What?
300 million something else.
Wrong question.
But genetically speaking, right, the male gamete, which is called the sperm cell, brings 50% of the genetics, right? 23 of the chromosomes. So you're saying that there's something special that the biological father can bring to the picture, that even if you have everything, you'd still feel a deficit. Is that fair?
Yes.
Yeah.
Still trying to get to the bottom of this, though, and I'm not saying this because I have the answer. What does he bring that you can't have filled another way?
Something you can't explain. Something
Yeah,
that
might
can't
not
nobody
be
really
that.
explain. Maybe it's something we can't explain, but it's just nature. That was your father.
So your explanation is maybe there's something in nature. It's almost mystical or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I'm going with it.
DJ, what is it about the biofather that can give something that nobody else seems to be able to
I
give?
feel that since it's your father, you want him around. You're going to want him, period. Because it's yours. Yours.
Because he's yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you remember the New York Times? Colton Wooten, 17-year-old, writes an article for the New York Times. Did one of you have a quote from him?
Yeah, I got one.
What did you want to mention from him? Colton Wooten writes this letter to the editor, to the New York Times. He is a child who was conceived through sperm donation. What did you want to say?
He stated that sperm donors need to realize that they are fathers.
Why did you find that significant?
Because in that situation, he would want to know. Even though he probably couldn't, he still wants to know.
Yeah, again, that kind of raises the same question in my mind that Will Smith. Will Smith had everything. Colton Wooten, from what he described, had a wonderful mom who just wanted a child and conceived the child through a sperm donation. And yet, he wants to know. Why? Why does he want to know?
I don't know.
Maybe because it was just like you said. It's a void. You gonna feel when your father's not around because he's not around.
Okay.
It's something you feel.
Great. Yeah. In fact, I have a Colton Wooten quote from that same opinions piece he wrote for the New York Times. He says, "I am sometimes at such a petrifying loss for words or emotions that make sense, that I can only feel astonished by the fact that he, my father, could be anyone." You know, so he's out there driving around. His dad could be anyone. But we also heard from people. We heard from a man named Stephen Gage, who doesn't know his bio father and doesn't want to know. He says his real father is his stepfather who raised him. He says, that's my real dad. Why does he consider his stepdad his real dad?
Because maybe his stepdad gave him that support that he needed.
But that's the same thing Phil could have did too, right?
Yeah, that's the same thing Uncle Phil could bring. Well, yeah, it's
But maybe he played the role well. Maybe he just, he just supported him and held him down like a father was supposed to.
okay. Anything else you want to comment on that you believe a father brings to the picture that a son needs? Or daughter?
fatherhood just gives you something that you can't get back. Fatherhood is a very vital and important thing in life.
All right. DJ, any final comment on that?
No.
All right. When we come back, we'll ask our guests, where do we go from here with fatherhood in America?
Hi, I'm Stan.
I'm Stanette.
I'm Granny, and I'm a friend of Stan and Stanette. We look forward to meeting all of you this year.
We're the Human Simulators, and we're here to help you learn critical thinking skills so you can provide excellent care to your patients no matter what health profession program you are in.
I live in H-Wing on Mattis, and I hope to get to know all of you throughout your educational endeavors at Parkland.
Well, we know that there are a lot of children out there who don't have fathers, and actually all three of us share this common experience. And we've talked about deficits we felt in our own lives. We've talked about how mom can be the dad also, and yet there also seems to be something special that the bio father, when it works, when he is there, brings that just is very fulfilling. But that's not happening for a lot of kids. 1 in 3 don't have their bio father in the home. And my question to you guys is, what do we do? What do we do as a society with what we discussed today?
We take fatherhood more serious.
What does that mean?
We think about having kids. We think about having kids before we have them. You know, if you don't want to be around, you shouldn't have them.
Okay. So way before that child even comes about, when
you should think about the decisions you make before you make.
True.
Take it more seriously. Think about it. DJ, what do we do?
You should tell me, what do we do?
Oh, well, I can give you the answer. I think it's not the answer, but it is my answer. I think I think about my mom in this instance. Now, she grew up poor, back in the time of the Depression. And one of the things she decided was that when she grew up, there are certain things she was going to make sure her kids have. And she did a very good job of that. She worked very hard, got herself in a position with the Champaign County and did a fantastic job at that. And she provided some things for us that she didn't have as a child. Well, I guess we need to take that attitude. Okay, so we had a deficit. We missed out on Dad. I think just like my mom tried to provide some material things, I can turn around and say, hey, I want to provide some of those social, spiritual, loving things that maybe I missed out on as a child for my own children. What do you think about that, DJ? Well, what's your answer? What do we do? Where do we go from here?
What do we do? I don't think we could do nothing. I think it's inside oneself. So it's your own decisions. So you decide what you want to do.
So we can't do anything, meaning as a society, it just comes down to individuals making the choice.
Other than try to help the ones who don't have fathers. But for the ones who do, it's up to them.
We should take it more serious.
All right. Take it more seriously. Well, those are our thoughts about fatherhood in America. We'd love to hear from you. If you have comments, email me, Steve Rutledge, at parkland.edu. That's srutledge@parkland.edu. Limit your comments to 300 words or fewer, and we reserve the right to use your comments on future Interlocution shows. Hey, our students are busy working on other issues. I hope you join us for more of those discussions in future shows.